Okay, let's start student now. Very good afternoon to everyone. I hope you all are fit and fine. Let's begin with the session. Just a second. Yes, students. So let's start with the session today. Okay. So let me start. Let me present my screen and let us start with the Jamboard. Okay. We are starting with the new unit today. That is unit number 5. Because we have completed with unit number 4 all the things which was the part of unit 4 has been covered. So we are starting with unit 5 today. The name of the unit is, but I'm not following the sequence which is given in the syllabus. I'm starting with the very basic things which is there in the syllabus, right? Let me present my screen. And this is what unit number 5, class object oriented thinking. So now it was object in classes, the basics or the fundamentals of all related to object in classes. Now we are actually working with the objects, what we can do with the help of object. Here all the concepts which we have learnt, like encapsulation, inheritance, abstraction, everything we will be learning it here. Polymorphism, everything we will be learning it in this particular unit. Along with that, we will be learning some of the basic requirement of any Java programmer, like the string class. We have string class, we have string buffer class, we have string builder class. Right now, till still so far, we have only understood that we can create a string. We can create a string object, but what all other things we can do with that string object, which functions are related with that string object, all the things we are going to learn, right? So let's start with the one of the, not in the sequence, but I'm starting with the basics, small things which we can complete within a session. I'm starting with that particular thing, and it is not related to any of the topic. Now let us start with today's date is 9 February 2021. We are starting with unit number 5, that is object oriented thinking. Object oriented thinking. Now, the first topic we are going to learn is wrapper class. Now, this is a little bit interesting topic, and you might not have learned it in the earlier programming languages you uh, have heard of. Okay. So wrapper class. Wrapper class is, you can say, the classes which represents primitive data type. Now, we know which are the primitive data types. We have the primitive data types as, let's say, we have primitive data type as integer, then long, then double, then uh, character. So these are the boolean. Yes, in Java we have boolean, then we have byte. So these are some of the primitive data types we use. Now what Java has, for each primitive data type, Java has specific wrapper class associated with it. I repeat, for every primitive data type, Java has a specific wrapper class associated with it. That means if I talk about integer, then for integer, Java has the class called integer. Then for long, it has class called long. For double, it has a class called double. For character, it has a class called character. For boolean, it has a class called boolean. And byte, it is called byte. It is byte. Fine. So these are numeric primitive data type which stores number, like integer, long, double, byte, which will be storing number. Character is not a numeric data type because it is storing a character, and boolean is actually storing a boolean value, either true or false. Now what exactly I want to say is, see, if I talk about Java, see, there are some sort of languages which will apply or which will follow some OOP concept. For example, if I talk of C++, now C++ has polymorphism, C++ has abstraction, C++ has encapsulation, and C++ has inheritance. But C++ does not fulfill C++ does not fulfill some of the properties to its complete extent. For example, if I talk about encapsulation, and encapsulation means what? Everything which you write will be in the form of a class. Everything should be encapsulated within the class. But if you talk about C++, your main function, your void main function is itself, it's outside the class. We don't write main function inside the class in C++. Yes, we can have other classes inside C++ file, but we are not writing void main function inside the class. That means your C++ is not actually implementing encapsulation to its 100%. I can say like that. Another, similarly, Java. If you talk about Java, Java supports primitive data type. We are saying Java is object-oriented language, but we should not say Java is pure object-oriented language. Why? Java is object-oriented language, but it supports primitive data type also. As it supports primitive, see, you can create a variable like integer a is equal to 10. This is completely valid in Java. You can create a character variable, you can create a boolean variable, right? It is simply valid statement as it supports. But according to object oriented language, everything should be in the form of object. Even your data which you are storing, your value which you are storing, that should also be in the form of an object, right? But in Java, even if we don't create the object, still we can store the value in the variable, in the primitive data type. So as Java supports primitive data type, we cannot say Java is pure object-oriented language. We say Java is object-oriented language. Most of the concept in Java, Java has all the concept of object-oriented language almost to its 100% extent, right? But as it supports primitive data type, we say that Java is not pure object-oriented language. Java is object-oriented language. Okay, if you have a small talk, there is a language called small talk. Now that is pure object oriented language, because even if you want to store the value inside a variable, you are supposed to create an object. Okay, so there are languages which is pure object oriented language, but Java is not pure, it is object oriented language. Okay, I hope it is clear. Because it is not fulfilling all the requirements of object oriented language, it is not pure one. Fine. Now, to compensate this particular gap that Java does not have, as it supports primitive data type, and to compensate this thing, what Java has done, Java has added a wrapper class concept. Now, wrapper class concept is nothing but if I want to convert primitive data type into the corresponding object, if I want to create, or let me give you the example for this. If I write like this, integer a is equal to 10, this is simply valid statement in Java, right? There will be no compilation error, there will be no runtime error, this is 100% valid. But that means it is supporting primitive data type. Now, if I want to convert this variable, what is this actually? This is actually a variable, right? A variable of type integer. Now, if I want to convert this particular thing into object, how I am supposed to write? Now, which is the class which is corresponding to integer? It is which is the class corresponding to int? It is integer, right? So if I want to store 10 value, what I will be doing? I'll be creating the object of class integer. Integer a is equal to new integer 10. Are you getting? So if this is not valid, only if Java supports this kind of variable declaration, then we can say Java is purely object oriented language. But Java has this also, Java has this also, right? Both are possible, and hence variable is possible. That means Java is not pure object oriented language. Now when you are converting this, actually you are using a concept of wrapper class. You are wrapping the value of a variable inside an object. Or in a simpler word, we can say that we are actually converting. Is there any problem? Okay. We are actually converting our variable, a simple value in the object, in the form of object. So 10 is an integer value, right? It's a simple value. But now it has been converted into an object. Okay, this is what the concept of wrapper class. This is what the role of a wrapper class. Now, why there is a need of having a wrapper class? Okay, we have accepted that Java is not pure object-oriented language, it is an object-oriented language. Now, what is the need of converting a variable or a value into an object? A value into an object. Now, there are some classes in Java that will accept only object as their input. I repeat, there are few classes in Java which we will be learning in the coming session, like collection and all, right? We have a collection interface which will only accept the input value in the form of an object. Now, suppose I'm creating one list. I'm just giving you an example. You might not understand it, but you remember it, right? Right now you remember it. I'll be justifying my statement in the earlier sessions when we'll be moving in the syllabus. So there are some classes in Java which will accept input value. Even if I want to input 10, I will need the object. Okay? So at that time, you can use or you can convert your value You can wrap your value using the wrapper class and convert it into an object so that that class can able to get your input. Are you getting, everyone? So this is what the importance of wrapper class. So sometimes there are some applications which will only take input as an object. So at that time you can convert your simple value or a variable into an object. So this is how the wrapper class will be used. Am I clear, everyone? Getting something? Getting idea of this? Yes. Okay. Few more responses. Great. Great. Okay. My voice is not proper. Is it for everyone? Is my voice breaking?
No, I'm not breaking.
Okay. So Arshil, I think it is at your end. You can rejoin. Yes. Yes. You can rejoin the session. Okay. So this is what the role of wrapper class. Now there are three things associated with this kind of conversion. Rather, three terminologies uh, we are supposed to remember. Now, let me write one statement here. Integer I is equal to new integer 5. Fine. This will be equivalent, sorry, here it will come capitalized. See, this is a class, right? This is a class. So, this is a class. So, the name will start with the capital letter. Okay. This is equivalent to integer I is equal to 5. These two statements are equivalent. These two statements are equivalent. Let me write here. These two statements are equivalent. Now what we have done here, we have created a simple object of type integer and we have assigned that object as 5. So ultimately your value 5 is not a variable now, it is in the form of an object, and when it is an object it will be having all the properties of object oriented programming. You can inherit that and think that there are so many things you can do with that, right? Okay, now when you have this is actually a simple value, it is not an object. Now this is an object, correct? Now you know the difference between object and a value. When you use new operator and you are using a constructor here to initialize that object and everything is there, right? So you know this. So this is an object, this particular thing is an object, this particular thing is object, and this is a value. This is a value, but these two are equivalent. Equivalent means ultimately if you write like this or if you write like this, an object will be created. An object will be created. Here you have not used new operator, still the object will be created. Why? Because of the concept called boxing. Actually not that fighting boxing, but there is a concept of boxing, unboxing and auto boxing and auto unboxing. So as the name suggests, you are boxing, you are wrapping a value, simple value inside an object through a wrapper class. So that is called boxing. That means converting primitive data type into an object. So that is the same thing. Converting primitive data type into an object, that is called boxing. Reverse, converting wrapper class or rather converting object into primitive data type, converting object into primitive data type, that becomes unboxing. You are unboxing it. It was wrapped around the object cover. Now you are unboxing it. This two process, boxing and unboxing, is done automatically by Java. Here you have not written new. You are boxing a primitive data type value inside an object. Inside an object, this is done automatically. Even if you have not written new, still the object will be created and the value will be assigned as 5. This is called auto boxing. This is done automatically by Java. Similarly, auto unboxing. When you are converting or when you are writing a code which will be having the conversion of from object to primitive data type, again it will be done automatically. This is called boxing and unboxing. We'll see the example later on, but you understand the terms and the concept. You remember the terms and understand the concept, that what is boxing, what is unboxing. Boxing is the process of converting primitive data type to object, and unboxing is done. Unboxing is called the conversion from object to primitive data type. Okay, and these two processes are done automatically, so we generally say it is an auto boxing and auto unboxing. So boxing and unboxing will be done automatically. Am I clear with this, everyone? Is it okay? Are you remembering the concept? Please don't interchange the concept of boxing and unboxing, because you have to remember that small value is wrapped around the object. That means you are putting a small value inside a big thing. So you are actually boxing it. When from object, a big object, you are taking out the value, you are actually unboxing it. Yeah? Yes? Is it okay? Right. Is there any doubt or shall we proceed? Okay, great. So that is what the importance of wrapper class. You might have, we have used that, right? Integer.parseInt, right? You must have, you do remember that? Integer.parseInt. At which particular place we have used this?
Ma'am, command line argument.
Very good. To convert our command line argument, which is stored in the form of a string, and actually it is an integer, we use the parseInt method to convert it into integer, right? So at that time also I have told you that integer is a class, it is a wrapper class, and we will be looking to this particular class later on. So this is the time where we are actually using that, or we are learning that particular concept, wrapper class. For every primitive data type, one class is associated. And what is the need of having a class? As I have told you that in some Java applications or some Java concepts are such that they will only accept the input in the form of object. So if you want to get that input, if you want to store a primitive value inside that, you are supposed to convert it into object and then place that thing inside that particular concept. This also I will be justifying later on once we will be moving in the session. And with this, so let me have a quick theoretical aspect. So primitive data value is not an object, but it can be wrapped in an object using a wrapper class in the Java API. And one more thing, all these classes, integer, which we have listed out, all these classes are there inside java.lang package. So automatically this java.lang package is imported in our application. So no need to import anything extra to use the wrapper class. So Java offers a convenient way to incorporate or to wrap a primitive data type into an object. Example, wrapping integer into an integer class, wrapping double into a double class, and wrapping character into character class. Okay? Java provides boolean, character, double, float, byte, short, integer, and long wrapper class in the java.lang package for primitive data type. So integer, double, long, short, they are the numeric wrapper class because they stores numbers. Numeric wrapper class are very similar to each other. Only the format changes. Integer wrapper class will only store integers. Double and float will store the precision or the decimal values, like that. Each numeric class has a constant max value and min value. Each contains, so as they are similar, and ultimately they are going to store numbers, so the methods and the constants which they have, they are very almost, they will be having similar things. So each contains method. Double valued int value means it is these int value. This particular method will be used if I want to convert my object into a primitive type. As it is written, this method converts object into primitive type. As I have told you, which concept here, which concept, converting object into primitive data type, which concept we are actually using, or we are talking about?
Unboxing, ma'am.
Clear. Unboxing. So unboxing, if I want to do the boxing process, if I want to do unboxing, you have the methods available in the wrapper class. Correct. So other than this, it has compared to string, value of, parse int, parse double, and everything will be there according to the requirement. See, I wanted to show you one thing. Just remind me when we have last 10 minutes in the session, 10 to 15 minutes in the session, I'll be showing you one thing. Right. So a wrapper class do not have no argumented constructor. Means actually they are talking like this. You don't have like this. We don't have like this. Integer AB is equal to new integer, like this. Now when you are actually creating an integer, you are supposed to give the value. Can I write like this? Integer C is equal to what? Nothing. No value. Right? I cannot have this kind of thing. So it is something like when you are having an object, when you are creating an object of type integer or for a wrapper class, you have to initialize it. So you should have a no argumented constructor. You should not have no argumented constructor. You should always give a value which will be stored inside that object. So it is not supported. So that is a constraint we have to remember. So okay. So all the instances of wrapper class are immutable. Now what is immutable? That I will be going to explain it in the later part of this unit when we will be doing the string class, right? But just to right now remember that once the value has been assigned to that particular object, we cannot change that. We cannot change that. Fine. So integer values cannot be changed. Fine. So similarly, as you have wrapper class, you have two other classes available in Java. That is called big integer and big decimal. So see, integer has its range, that till some numbers you can store inside an integer, till some numbers you can store it inside into float. Every primitive data type has a range, right? Beyond that range, you cannot store the value. Now imagine you want to store a very big value, right? It is not possible for normal primitive data type to store that value. I'll be showing you the example, it will be much more clear. So if you want to store the value which is out of the range of integer and double, then you have to use big integer and big decimal classes. So if you need to compute very large integers or high precision floating point values, you can use these two classes, and these are in the java.math package. So you have to import it. Let's say this is what I want to store. Now, is it feasible for any integer to store this? Not at all. It will be out of the range. It will be out of the long range also. It will be out of this integer also, right? So if I want to store this kind of a number, I have to use big integer, and as they are classes, I need to create object for that. So what, and you can store the number for any length inside big integer, any length. ठीक है, तो आप एक लेंथ का भी नंबर कर सकते हो, 10 लेंथ का भी नंबर उसमें स्टोर कर सकते हो. तो मान लो कि हमने दो, and you can perform any operation which you want for those numbers, right? It is not necessary that, it is not limited that only we can store it. We can play with that numbers also. So what we have done, we are multiplying a with b. So actually we are having these. So again the number will increase. When I multiplied, again my number will be bigger. So that also can be stored inside a big integer and big decimal class. Okay? This is what actually all about wrapper class, big integer and big decimal. So according to the requirement, you can use it in your application wherever necessary. Is there any doubt so far? Shall we proceed? Shall we proceed? Okay, Vicky. Yes. Now, we are moving on to string class and string buffer class. Some of the things are already known to you because few of the things we have already practiced and used. But there will be few things which you might not know. Okay? So, there are three classes which are associated with string word. One is string class, second is string builder class, and third is string buffer class. Now, these all three classes are final classes. Final classes means you cannot create a subclass. Now, what is a subclass? That we will learn later on in the inheritance unit. Now, if you talk about string class with comparison to string builder and string buffer, the thing is, string class is immutable. Immutable means we have just now learned that immutable means once you assign the value into it, the value cannot be changed. The value cannot be changed. They are something like constants. They are string constants. Fine. So string class is immutable. Once the value assigned inside a string object, you cannot change it. So that is what string object is, immutability for a string class. In comparison to the string class, we have string builder and string buffer class. These two classes are also able to store string, but they have the flexibility with compared to string. What is the flexibility? That you can change the content of that string object. You can change means you can change the content once given. That content can also be changed inside these two classes, string builder and string buffer. So these two classes are called mutable, means changeable, whereas string class is immutable. You cannot change once the value is assigned. If you try to create, if you try to change the value, your Java will create new object for it and the previous object will be deleted by garbage collector. At the same place, the change will not happen. At the same place, the change will not happen. Whereas in string builder and string buffer, if you are changing the content, the change will happen in the same object. The change will take place in the same object. This is what the construction of these classes which Java has done. So we have to accept it. So you can add, insert or append new content into string builder and string buffer object, whereas the value of a string object is fixed once the string is created. That is what the difference between the two. Now still we have the difference between string builder and string buffer, that is related to synchronization. But right now you don't know the word synchronization because we have not learned the concept of thread in Java. Once we will be learning thread, at that time again I will make you recall that we have these two classes. One is synchronized and one is not synchronized. But what is synchronized and that you don't know. So I am not, just right now you remember that string builder and string buffer are mutable, whereas string is immutable, right? Yes, anyone is facing any doubt? I am
यस
hearing.
मैम।
Yes.
मैम जो आपने स्ट्रिंग बिल्डर और स्ट्रिंग बफर क्लास को मतलब ये स्ट्रिंग को मॉडिफाई करके ये बना है इसको म्यूटेबल करने के लिए, तो ऐसा दूसरे प्रिमिटिव डेटा टाइप के साथ कर सकते हैं?
नहीं 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 ये हम म्यूटेबल अनम्यूटेबल सी व्हेन यू आर हैविंग अ स्ट्रिंग दैट इज ओनली गोइंग टू चेंज, राइट? आप 5 को कैसे चेंज करोगे? आप इंटीजर और प्रिमिटिव जो न्यूमेरिक डेटा टाइप है उसको म्यूटेबल की जरूरत ही नहीं है, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू एड एनीथिंग, because that is a fixed constant, right? That is a constant. The numbers are constant actually. Are you getting? There is no question of mutability for any numeric data type. For string only it is needed that if you want to merge two strings, or if you want to replace any character inside a string, if you want to have a substring of string, that is only possible if you have a textual content. For a numeric content you cannot have a sub number, right? How you can? You don't have, right? I'm not getting the word also to explain for that, because numbers are actually constant things. If you are adding two numbers, obviously it is going to generate a third number. Okay? Because you are actually adding to constant, it will result it into constant. But textual data mein kya hai? There are so many things we can manipulate that textual data. We can extract some of the characters from it. We can add the characters in between. We can append something into that content. That is possible only in the textual content, not with the numeric content. तो ये other data type में ये question ही नहीं होता. ठीक है? Is it okay, Bajrang?
यस मैम।
Okay. Yes, Amit, anything from your side?
नो
Your
मैम।
mic is on, so I thought you want to ask something. So shall I proceed, everyone? Yes. So that is all about string and string buffer. Now, as we know that string is immutable, so string class will have those functions only which will not actually change the content. Okay, it will not actually change the content, and a string buffer will be having those functions which can change the content inside the object, right? So let us have a look. We will be having the example also. We will learn this particular thing using example also. You can say that obviously the constructor will be there. Length method not going to change the content of the object of the string. So you can find the length of the string. You can find out the character at particular position, because it is not going to change the content. You are getting multiple characters if you want to extract. Again, you can get, because anyways you are not going to change the content. It will not have the method called append. Okay? Equal, you are comparing two string. No problem, you are not changing the content. If I want to check whether the string starts with capital letter or small letter, or ends with capital letter or small letter, that is only you are looking at the content and doing your task, right? You are not changing the content. They are compared to, you are comparing one string to another. You want to find the index of particular character. If you are writing a, at which position my a is located. Okay? An index of with substring and with character, that we will be seeing in the example. Then substring, you are extracting the part of the string from that. So again you are creating a new string which will be the part of that main string. So even your main string is not going to change. Okay? Then concate. Now when you concate, actually you might feel that when I'm using concate, actually I'm merging two strings. No, when I'm concating, this function is doing what? I have string S1, I have string S2. When I'm concating, it is going to create my third string. It is not going to change the content. It is going to merge two string and create, not individually merging. It will fetch string 1, it will fetch string 2, it will merge that, and it will create new string object. So the original string S1 and S2 is not going to change. Then replace. Yes, replace, again I will be telling you with the help of an example. Then trim. Trim is what? Actually trim is also creating a new string by removing the removing the spaces which is before the string and after the string, not in between, not in between. Your trim will remove the spaces which is before the string and after the string only. ठीक है, और वो एक न्यू स्ट्रिंग जनरेट करेगा जो ट्रिम हुआ होगा, मतलब उसके आजू और मतलब आगे और पीछे कुछ स्पेस नहीं होगा. ठीक है, so that is what the thing. And there are few more methods, we will be learning it through that example, but this is just an overview that string has these many functions. Now if you want to say reverse, then append, these all things is a part of your string buffer class. Okay, just I have mentioned you that string buffer class is similar to string builder, except the methods for modifying the buffer in string buffer are synchronized. So string buffer is not synchronized class, whereas string buffer is synchronized. Now what is synchronized? Have patience, we will be learning thread unit, at that time I'll let you know. Only one task is allowed to execute the method, right? But you might not understand what it is want to tell you. Okay, so okay, that's it. So you have the append. See, you have the append function, which is actually changing the content of the same string. So append is there. Then delete. If you want to delete means what? You are changing the size, you are changing the content, you are deleting few of the characters. So same object in the same particular string buffer object or builder object, the characters will be deleted, and you will be having the change in the content of the string. Then you can insert the characters in between if you want to insert it at the end or before it or after something. Then replace. Again you have a replace function. Few characters can be replaced. Reverse, you can set the character at particular index. You can convert your buffer into string. This is a very important function and we use it frequently. If I want to convert string buffer into string, right? I will be seeing one example also where you need to use this compulsorily, right? So to string, then capacity, what is the capacity of the buffer? Because initially when you are creating the string buffer object, it will be the size is 16 bytes. 16 bytes. But you can increase the capacity, you can decrease the capacity of that buffer. Character rate, again the same function, character rate is available here also to extract the character from the buffer. Then again length, then if I want to set the length of the particular buffer, then I can write it. Again substring and trim to size. If I want to trim, not spaces only, if I want to trim to size, fixed size, then I can trim it, I can set it. So that is what the thing. Still we have the example to understand these functions with output. Okay? So that is what string buffer and string builder class. Clear with this, everyone? Yes, Bajrang, tell me.
मैम आपने बोला था कि लास्ट 10 मिनट्स में
हाँ वही कर रही हूँ मैं, मुझे याद है.
ओके
Fine. So that's it from my side for today's. As far as content is concerned, we will be looking to the example of string and wrapper class in the next unit and in the next session. Now the thing which I wanted to show you is in the Google, suppose you want to know that which kind of, how many inbuilt classes, how many inbuilt packages are there, and which classes has which inbuilt methods inside Java, right? It is very difficult because Java has so many inbuilt classes and classes and functions available. So for that you are having Java docs. So what you do, you just type Java docs, and here it will be, or only Java doc, that is Java documentation. right? So you can go to that Java doc. Not this actually, this will not help you much more. Yes, you can go to this link. This is JDK7, but the major thing will not be almost similar. The basic thing will be similar. This is what Java docs. Now you can see it here that for Java 7, for every version you will be having the Java docs. You can see that these are the different packages available in Java. These are the inbuilt packages. You can see we have learned about java.util, right? So you can click on any of the package. Here also there is a list of package if you want to go through. You can see that java.util package has so many things inside it. Inside this, these are the interfaces. What are interfaces? You are not knowing, don't worry. These are the inbuilt classes in java.util package. We have used which package? Scanner, right? So alphabetically they are sorted. So you can see that there is a scanner class here. So scanner class, you click on the scanner class and you can see that what is the use of scanner class and what are the different things associated with the scanner class. Again, you can see so many things inside it, which different methods. These are the constructors with scanner class. These are the methods available. See, we have used which method? Next int, you can say, see, we have used next, then we have used next boolean, next byte, next inti big decimal, next big integer, then next int, next float, next double, right? So all next line, all these things are available. So if you want to search for any of the inbuilt Java class or package or utility, you can go to that Java doc and you can search it. Will be getting the syntax also, you will be getting the explanation also, you will be getting the example also. Okay? So this is a one useful utility provided by Java. So wherever you want to use, you can use it. Fine. So is it okay? Anyone was knowing about this Java utility? This Java docs? Actually, it's a very helpful thing. Whenever we are doing or whenever we are creating any application, real-time application, it is very useful. See, no one says to mug up the syntaxes because your Google, your documentation is so powerful that they will be giving you the syntaxes. The editors are so far powerful that they will help you to remember the syntaxes. The only burden at the developers is they have to create logics. ठीक है, तो आपको भी वही बोल रही हूँ मैं कि आप कोड लिखना या कोड एग्जीक्यूट करना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, लॉजिक बिल्डिंग इज इंपॉर्टेंट. सिंटेक्स अगर मान लो एग्जाम तक आपको याद है, ठीक है, चलो फाइन, लेकिन कंसेप्ट तो याद हमेशा रहना चाहिए. अगर सिंटेक्स हाँ एग्जाम के लिए याद होनी चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं कि एग्जाम में आप गूगल पे जाओ और ये सिंटेक्स, नो दैट्स नॉट द केस. एग्जाम के लिए याद होनी चाहिए, लेकिन अगर मान लो आपको हमेशा सिंटेक्स याद नहीं रहती तो दैट्स फाइन, देयर आर सो मेनी हेल्प्स फॉर यू. लेकिन लॉजिक तो आपको ही बनाना पड़ेगा. नो बडी गिव्स यू लॉजिक. ठीक है, अगर रेडीमेड कोड भी मिलता है तो दैट इज their viewpoint or their requirement or their application. We need to change the things according to our requirement, और वो तभी होगा जब आपका लॉजिक बिल्डिंग स्ट्रांग होगा. इसलिए अभी I'll be now reducing. I'll try myself to give you the code. I will first, you are supposed to try. अगर ठीक है एरर आती है तो एरर आएगी तो भी तो सीखेंगे. ठीक है, हम भी जब जावा सीखते थे तो एरर आती ही थी, ऐसा नहीं था कि हमने पहली ट्रायल में जावा सीख लिया. नो, वी वर आल्सो लर्निंग, वी वर आल्सो. लेकिन एज एंड व्हेन वी डेवलप द इंटरेस्ट, एज एंड व्हेन वी कॉन्सेंट्रेट इन सेशंस, इन लैब्स, इंटरेस्ट आ ही जाता है पॉजिटिवली. अगर आप सोचोगे कि ये आपके लिए कर रहे हो, जब भी कुछ सीखो तब ऐसा मन में रखना कि यू आर लर्निंग फॉर योरसेल्फ. जब भी अपने पे आएगा ना तो इंटरेस्ट आ ही जाएगा. ठीक है, अगर ऐसा सोचोगे कि नहीं एग्जाम पास करने के लिए सीख रहे हैं, जॉब करने के लिए सीख रहे हैं, फैकल्टी को प्रोग्राम देना है इसलिए सीख रहे हैं, मम्मी पापा ने बोला है इसलिए सीख रहे हैं, नो, तब इतना इंटरेस्ट नहीं आएगा. लेकिन जब ऐसा सोचोगे कि नहीं, इट इज डूइंग, आई एम डूइंग फॉर माई सेल्फ, I'm teaching good for myself. I am not teaching to make my students, yes, to make my students happy. Yes, that is obviously the one of the intention. बट जब मैं सोचूंगी कि मैं खुश होनी चाहिए, मैंने अच्छा पढ़ाया आज, मैं जब रात में सोऊं तो मुझे ऐसा लगना चाहिए कि नहीं, वॉट एवर आई हैव टॉट, आई एम हैप्पी, आई एम सेटिस्फाइड, तो अपने आप ही इंटरेस्ट आ जाएगा। और जब मैं खुश रहूंगी, अच्छे से पढ़ाऊंगी, आपको ऑब्वियसली आपको भी अच्छा लगेगा, आपको भी समझ में आएगा। दैट इज द बाई प्रोडक्ट। व्हेन यू आर हैप्पी, द अदर्स विल बी हैप्पी, द अदर्स, यू विल मेक अदर्स हैप्पी, दैट इज द बाई प्रोडक्ट ऑफ हैप्पीनेस। ठीक है, so let's end up the session with a good note. Yes, Amit, anything from your side? You have raised
No,
your
ma'am.
hand, that's why. Oh, Priyanka has raised your hand. Yes, Priyanka, anything? Priyanka, anything from your side? You have raised your hand, that's why. Okay, meanwhile, let me take the attendance. Zaki Ahmed, Sachin Chinmay Dhairya, Milan Hitesh Hina Chirag, Dhairya is not there, right? Vensi Kamalraj Astha Shelvi, Jaykishan Hiren Naresh Munaf, Naresh is not there. Yatesh Mohib Hussain Krish Mishi Kushal. Okay. Umang Parth Kartik Deep. Parth is not there. Urvisha Mihir Nirali Sharad. Urvisha is not there. Mihir Nirali and Sharad. Sharad is also not there. Kartik Mihir Nirali Deep. Okay. Rahul Shreya Krishna Milan. Rahul Shreya Krishna and Milan. Okay. Sunil Harsh Yash Diksha. Okay. Zenith Varun Stuti Harshil. Dev Yash Kinjal Jai. Okay. Manan Bhagyesh Bhargav Sahista. Bhagyesh is not, okay, Bhagyesh is there. Aryan Amit Ruma Bajrang. Bajrang is not there. Bajrang was there, I think. Sonu Aman Rajiv Akhilesh. Sonu is not there. Okay, Sonu is fine. Amit, Ankit, Kashish, Rahul, Umang. Ankit, Kashish, Rahul is not there. Umang, okay. Mananjay, Sonu, Divyanshu, Bhumika. Bhumika Nathi. Bhumika is not there. Okay. Chandan, Gagan, Vinay, Abhiraj. Shravan, Rinku, Roshan, Ashish. Okay. Priyanka, Vicky, Manish, Alsef. Okay. Brajesh, Rohini, Akash, Ravi.
Present, ma'am. Ravi.
Okay. What about Akash? Akash is not there. Okay. So absentees are Akash, Rahul Kumar.
मैम
48 present.
What's your name?
Urvisha.
Purvisha. Just a second.
Ma'am,
Yes.
16 present.
તમે બધા ક્યાં હો છો? ક્યાં હો છો? તમારું નામ બોલાય છે ત્યારે.
મેમ હું બોલ્યો તો માઇક ના કારણે નહીં અવાજ આવ્યો.
હા, મને નથી આવ્યો. ફાઇન, વાંધો નહીં. ચિરાગ,
I'm sorry.
વાંધો નહીં. ચિરાગ, નરેશ, these are absent, huh? Parth, Sharad, and Rahul Kumar and Akash. Rahul is there, okay. Fine. Okay, that's it, students, from my side. Thank you all for joining. Bye for now. Take care.